the numbers haven't come out yet for Harden, but they're saying what 3 or 4 year deal, averaging like the mid 30s. I can't say enough about Harden, and I know there have been a lot of people giving him tons of credit, but there's also a group of naysayer haters out there that have been saying Harden's getting way too much credit for this, pump the brakes. This really isn't a discount because he's going to get a bunch of years in the deal. But look, to everyone that says those things, he didn't have to do this. He could have just opted in. If he only cared about himself, he would have opted in. Philly still would have gave him an extension after that. Unless he completely collapsed next year, he'd still get an extension and he would have gotten that $47.5 million. Especially, think about this. No one even talks about this. Let's say he did a 1 year deal. Let's say he did the opt-in. He played his ass off, said, you know what? I'm giving it all this year to get my last payday. And then said, hey, I'm back to being a top 5-10 player again. Look at my stats. Pay me like one. I want that 3 year extension for like $200 million, $250 million. I'm that guy again, right? You said if I'm him, then pay me. What would have happened? Morey would have done it. Because if he looks that way again, he'd feel inclined to. Philly would kill him if he didn't pay the guy who looks like Houston Harden. So you'd have to do it. But he didn't do that. He was a man of his word. He said he's committed to winning and doing all he can to make this a winning team. It shows he just wasn't trying to run away from Brooklyn. He really wanted to be here. I mean, as many as crying wolf as he's had in his career, he was honest this time. And I want to ask this to all Harden haters, and even you guys. I know you guys aren't haters, but you guys can maybe answer this too. How many players in the last, let's just do 5 years, have done this? Opted out of a bigger payday in order to take a deal for about 15 less annually per year. I can't think of any.
That's more of an NFL move, really, than you've seen Brady take these pay cuts to make sure the team around him was good. You never really see that in the NBA.
There you go. Your example was Brady, the most famous version, the most famous player doing it in all sports.
Yeah, it happens in NFL because you're able to restructure your contracts. But in the NBA, a guy has to be a free agent for it to happen. So in most cases, guys aren't free agents. And in a lot of cases, it's not necessary to sign other players. So I think that what James has done is great for the team. But to kind of be fair, every situation isn't like this. It's a little different.
Yeah. It's true. Kyrie just had this. He didn't blink. I mean, in fact,
because he's trying to leave. I mean, that's the difference. I think he's trying to leave, and James is trying to help build a championship team.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's no different than you look at a guy like LeBron James. LeBron James took less money tons of times.
Yeah.
When he's going to teams.
It was his idea half the time, though.
That's what I'm saying. He's done it. He's never he could have and should have been the highest paid player for a while.
Could have. He might have had to wait a few more years to get that ring, though. He did that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but he did it. But he did it to win.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been done. I think if I had to point to a situation, I think Kevin Durant took less to win when he went to Golden State.
Expedite that winning process again. He was like, you know what?
Guys, when they do it, it has to be some incentive.
Yes,
for them to do it, because that's a lot of money, man.
It is a lot of money. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, and you were more of the belief of saying I think you said something like I don't see James doing this kind of thing because it's not very common, right? And he didn't have to do it, and he still would have been here, right? And guys say they want to help win and take more money all the time. It's very common.
Yeah, I mean it was, and I had said it. I think a while back we first started talking about this contract. I thought it was always going to be about the years more so than the money. And I still believe that. I still believe it's the years. I believe that the reason why it's probably taking so long is James probably won a fourth year.
I've heard different things about that too. I've heard the fourth year is partially guaranteed, something like that. Which it's fine. I mean, and the rumor at first was he was going to opt in, and then they were going to do a 2 or 3 year extension on top of that for less money. But this is even a step further in that other direction where it's like, man, you came through. I mean, he it takes you name players like LeBron and Durant they're guys that at different points of their career hit crossroads, and they were like, if I don't do this right here, right now, I might not win for like a few years or maybe not at all, right? So it takes that self-awareness and maturity to be like, this is it, man. And I think maybe last year humbled him to a certain degree, James, where he's like, I'm not the player like I was, admittedly. And maybe I don't deserve the 50+ million starting contract. And if I want to win and get rid of all that stigma, get my boys here, I do need to take less. So it's I'm not like announcing him the Lord Savior of the NBA by any means. He's had plenty of bad stories too, but I just want to give him credit where credit's due. He has done everything he said he was going to do. The last thing is showing up in great shape and looking somewhere in between last year's Philly and Houston Harden. And if he does that, then, we are, I think, that championship team. As far as acquisitions, like I said before, I think they're Tucker and House are exactly what the doctor ordered. Get it? And then I feel like Queen has a good stroke. Maybe he can develop into something. And Melton, great start to that I almost forgot about too. I feel like we're one piece away from moving on to being a real complete team, but I love where we're headed.
Yeah. And I think Harden just like he's gotten credit, but there's also those people the naysayers who still don't want to give him that. I think something I said, one of the things I read was that he's going to take this 3-year and take less because he knows he's cooked and he can't bet on himself for an opt-in on $47 million, knowing that he's going to get paid even less the following year. So he wants to lock himself into a 3-year deal. But that's just people. Everyone's going to say there's always a critic, and they're always going to say cling on to some BS.
They got opinion just like we do. So
yeah.